Yo, what is up everyone? It is XMPFX813 and go ahead, sit down, grab a cup of milk and cookies or water, whatever you really want to grab, cause this is gonna be some Call of Duty gameplay, some TDM. I believe I'm using the Type 25 with nothing on it, trying to get gold on it. I give up on this gun, trying to get gold on it, and I really just stopped trying to get gold and all that other stuff. It doesn't really matter to me. Anyways, so why I said go ahead and sit down and get comfortable is because this is, it's a 7-minute video, so it's not going to be super long, but it's about a topic that, to me never really meant a lot, and I try to say that in the least offensive way possible, because I know there's a lot of people, and I've known a lot of people that have dealt with stuff like this, and when I say it didn't mean a lot is I didn't have to experience it myself. And it all started about 3 years ago, and before I say this is I'm out of this state of mind now. It recently had come back, and the state of mind's gone now, and I'm bettering myself and trying to better the people around me and better the situations. But it's gonna be about depression, and let me start by saying it's an awful thing, and I never really understood what it was like to Phil trying to jump up there, but I never really understood what it was like to be depressed and have that feeling of hopelessness and not being able to control your situation, and feel like maybe there was no one there and there was no future for you, and it's just that it's such an awful, terrible feeling, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, because it's honestly probably one of the worst feelings I've had in my life. And it started about 3 years ago when I found out my mom had cancer, that's a whole nother story in itself, and there's a lot of behind the scenes things with that one that one day maybe I'll talk about, but it's not really my place to talk about that. But anyways, yeah, she had cancer, and it's all taken care of now. It's gone, and she had a couple surgeries and everything, and that was good. But then we started, my mom was in a banking business, and they had lost, the people had been doing wrong things, and as far as like embezzling money and whatnot, and they closed the company down. So she'd been laid off with it was like a countrywide layoff. It was a countrywide business, and hundreds of thousands of people, or maybe just thousands or tens of thousands or whatever, a lot of people lost their jobs, and it really affected me in the essence of our way of life had changed. We went from being where we were to below that, below where I'd ever been in my life, and down to the bottom, and eventually it actually led to what's called foreclosure. And if you don't know what that is, if you're international, I don't know if it's international, or if you're younger, it's when you can't make your payments on your house anymore, and the bank takes it from you. And when the bank takes it from you, they basically say, this is our house now, and you can't live there. So for a couple of years we fought and tried, and eventually we just couldn't do it anymore. And I was going to college anyways in Vermont and playing football, and I was moving from Florida to there, so we figured, we'll let it go. And subconsciously, I don't think me and my mother thought it would take a toll on either of us as much as it did, but I mean, we were homeless, and when I went to college, I was homeless. We were living with my grandparents in the spare room. So I mean, granted, we weren't living on the streets and everything, but we had no home to call our own, and it was rough. It really made me realize how lucky I was in life, and how I was able to have things that a lot of people weren't able to, and it not being able to say, oh, I'm gonna go to my house or come over to my house is something that you never want to experience, because you lost your house because you don't have a house anymore. And on top of that, I was leaving all my friends. I left all my friends behind. I knew no one in the region of New York that I moved to. I knew absolutely no one. And I moved 3 months before I even went to school, so I was working. and I didn't work in a place with people my age. I worked for a lumber company, and I did maintenance for them and lawn maintenance and stuff. So it was pretty much like a self-independent, you know, it was only me working. So I'd come home and then go to work, and come home and go to work, and that was it. And I was, you know, sleeping in the spare bedroom with my grandfather, and that's just a place I don't think many people understand, and I really feel for people who have it worse than that. And I just can't help but feel like, you know, it made me mature and realize and be thankful. And then I got kicked out of my college, and for reasons I won't talk about now. One day I'll get into them, but I can't talk about them now, due to the fact that it's still an ongoing thing. And when I got kicked out, it wasn't only that I got kicked out, but I got kicked off my football team, and that really, I haven't not played football for 8 years now, and realizing that, you know, I wasn't going to be able to do something that I loved anymore. It kind of put me back into a really dark place, and I was like, you know, I got kicked out of my college, I got kicked off my football team. There's nothing for me, and it really made me start thinking, and I had gotten to probably the worst point of depression I'd ever been in. And then on top of that, I was losing people that I thought were my friends. You know, just between everything that was happening, you know, they were, you know, they just weren't being like a friend that I was to them. It was a completely one-sided thing, and that's not something I was gonna have. So, you know, I was dealing with all of this, and then friends who weren't supportive and weren't helping. But, you know, that's the end of it. I'm not in that state of mind anymore, so don't worry. I just wanted to let you guys know what it's like, but let me know what you guys think.